Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, four-time combat vet, retired from the U.S. Army. He's also awarded a Bronze Star Medal for valor. And he's deployed a bunch of times to the Mideast, and he brings a lot of experience to this. Lieutenant Colonel, it's an honor to have you. Welcome back. And what's your take on these attacks that popped off last night?
Well, listen, my concern is always, how does this affect the interest of the United States first and foremost? And right now, we just don't know. There's so many things that could happen. I mean, you just showed on your on those clips a second ago that there's certainly been lots of threats from Iran that they could strike our troops. And this is one of the key reasons why I have been just pounded the desk since 2019 to say that the United States needs to withdraw our troops, especially from Syria and Iraq, because they don't provide any benefit to us. They don't increase our security, but they're points of strategic vulnerability. I can just tell you, because I've been stationed on some of the, especially some of these smaller outposts that we have in Syria. And we have tactical air defense, but we don't have strategic air defense, meaning, if Iran were to launch ballistic missiles, there's almost nothing we could do. They could strike with impunity should they want to. And other than withdrawing our troops, there's no way we can protect them from there. Now, obviously, we hope that doesn't happen. Trump does as well. But that is a risk that remains on the table because what we don't know is how Iran's going to respond. They could do what happened to Hezbollah when they assassinated the Nasrallah, their leader. They allegedly had like 150,000 really big rockets, and some were very good. And they never used them. They basically went to ground afterwards. And I think that's what Israel is hoping is going to happen here. I don't know that that's going to happen here. I think that Iran has a lot more capability than Hezbollah had. And you talked about the drones that got shot down. That seems like a token response because Israel knows that those drones are going to get shot down because of the experience they had in 2024 with the two rounds that went both north and south and against each other then. But their ballistic missiles were successfully getting through the Iron Dome. And if they choose to do so, they can inflict a lot of damage on Israel. The key to what's going to happen next, and we don't know the answer to this, is will the Iranian regime prioritize regime survival or revenge? Because if they do regime survival, then they'll do something like what they did in 2024 or what the Hezbollah did, and they have to have some kind of response. They can't go nothing. They wouldn't be able to stay in power because of the demands of their people. But it would be something measured and small that would not escalate. But if they go the other way and say, we're just tired of getting hit and we don't want to moderate our response, and then they go and hit something really big and painful in Israel, or God forbid, strike some of our troops, then now that you have the possibility for a big flaming war here, and it could go any number of ways, but could cause a lot of trouble and a lot of pain for all of us. And that's what I'm watching for right now. What comes next?
Lieutenant Colonel, all across my social media feed are images like this of Israeli drones flying with impunity over Iran. It seems like the strategic strikes really did a number on knocking out air defenses, and now there seems to be supreme control of the air over the nation. Can you explain from a tactical perspective, like what this means? This is a very bad position to be in, right?
Indeed it is. And I got to say that I didn't think that Israel could pull off this level of success. No matter, I've always known that they're the premier military power in the region. There's never been a question about that. But to have this level of success where it looks like literally nothing got shot down from Israeli, whether it was drones, whether it was missiles, or certainly aircraft, because I think I saw 200 was the number that were involved. None of them got hit. And there's literal impunity here, which means everything got knocked out. Now, I have from one specific source I have in the Middle East that tells me that there was, they believe that there were Israeli special forces on the ground and other people that were disabling the incoming radars before anything even came in. Militarily, you would start with suppression enemy air defenses, called SEED operation, to take out air defenses first, and then you come in and fly with the bigger stuff to take out the targets you were going after. But apparently Israel, and I can't corroborate this, only this is what I've been told, and it makes sense, that they had people on the ground that sabotaged the radars even before the SEED operations, which literally blinded Iran, especially in the Tehran area. And if so, I'm just really stunned at how effective that was. And that's great tactically, but that, wars aren't won by strikes or battles. They're won by campaigns. And so we'll see, because we got to see what Iran does next, because they still do have some tools to play that even the Iron Dome won't stop. And that's what I think we're waiting to find out what's going to be when the next shoe drops.
I'm looking here at your astonishing career: Desert Storm, Afghanistan, multiple deployments, 21 years of active service, retiring as lieutenant colonel. Have you ever seen anything like it with the building of a drone operations center from within enemy territory? I'm blown away by that. I'm very much with you, General. I do not want Americans to be embroiled into this war. We have been solid on that for years. However, if you just look at it as like a war map, and you look at the reports that Israel was building drone operation facilities inside of Iran without them knowing, I mean, that's wild, right?
Yeah, I mean that, and we're seeing the advancement of the way that wars are even fought. Obviously, in the Russia-Ukraine war, that big hit that Ukraine had against Russia's strategic bombers deep inside of Russia, that's an advanced capability. Then you see what Israel is doing here, and of course, like everything that ever happens in the history of warfare through millions of years, or thousands of years, it's going to be matched, and it's going to be followed by somebody else, and there will be advancements. So this capability is going to expand around, and one day we could be on the receiving end of some of this. So It's great that Israel did it now, but we better make sure we're building defenses for this against for our own security.
Right, and like I'm watching. There's never been any confirmation that President Trump moved all of the inauguration festivities indoors because of this. But we've had sources say that they were really concerned about drone attacks during the inauguration. Yep. They were concerned about something like this little black splinter cell that can fly these drones. And now we just watched it happen. We just watched it happen live, like how effective it is.
Right. Yeah. And I've actually spoken to some national security folks here in Washington, and they do have a lot of concern about that. I personally am concerned about this parade that's coming up because that's, there's all kinds of opportunity for things to go sideways there. And I'm sure that they're going to have plenty of air defense and all kinds of security. But anytime you're outside and you have that many moving pieces, it's going to be hard to defend everything. I just hope that nothing happens, but that's one of the next things I'm worried about.
Yeah. I want to conclude here, because you have been a part of multiple American deployments to the Mideast, and you can speak to it from a deep well of knowledge and experience. What would you warn the president about being embroiled in further conflict in the Mideast?
That it is really easy to get into a war. It is damn hard to get out of one. And that's what I fear that Israel did not learn from our mistakes here, is that you start something, but you don't know how you're going to get out of it. Unless Iran does the unexpected and just lays down and just rolls over and doesn't do anything with the capacity they have, this thing can get a lot more ugly, and it can really hurt Israel. And if they just get into a war, if you can't fight a war with just missiles and drones, you still have to take or hold ground. And if Israel doesn't knock out the entire regime and all of their IRGC, they could be opening up a long time war here that could be very, very costly on top of all the fronts that they're currently fighting. I fear that they have bitten off more than they can chew unless they just get really lucky here. And I would advise the president of the United States, let's don't join them in starting something we don't know how they're going to finish it. And definitely there's nothing to gain for the U.S. to be involved in any of this.
Yes, exactly. Precisely. Not our war, not our land, not our sand.
Yes, sir.
Yes. We deeply, congratulations, by the way, the 250th birthday of the United States Army. And thank you very much for your service. Please follow the Lieutenant Colonel right here, Daniel Davis. Deep dive. And look at that drone right there. Man, okay. Right. Let's book another one. Lieutenant. We're moving too fast today. Let's book a whole thing on drones. I'd really like to talk about the future of drone warfare. Do we even need aircraft carriers anymore? You know what I mean? Like at what stage?
Valid question.
At what stage do we get so advanced that like a $500 drone can take out anything,
You got it.
Around the world. All right. Well, thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel. Godspeed.
You bet. My pleasure.